What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. There seems to be quite a bit of discourse within the Pokemon community lately, and that's because there's a rumor floating around that Mega Evolution might be making a return in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So if you're interested in hearing what the latest tea is, then just keep on watching, and if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe because it helps your girl out, and give this video a thumbs up so that we can push it out into the YouTube algorithm so that more Pokemon fans can see it. And if you would like another way to support the channel, please feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But let's go ahead and see what all the fuss is about. So let's go ahead and start by looking at the tweet that started all the controversy. And that's this one right here that Nintendo of America, so the official Nintendo Twitter page, tweeted out about Roaring Moon. And so their tweet says, Roaring Moon is one of the mysterious Pokemon that you can meet in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This Pokemon is thought to resemble a Salamence undergoing a phenomenon seen in other regions. So obviously, they don't outright say what phenomenon they're talking about. And they don't outright say what region either. They're keeping it vague. However, they are clearly referencing a Salamance's Mega Evolution, which has the same crescent moon shape for its wings as Roaring Moon. And it's been pretty obvious since Roaring Moon was released that it was heavily inspired by Mega Salamence. And even though Nintendo of America doesn't outright say that they're talking about Mega Evolution, Roaring Moon's Pokedex entry basically just throws it in your face. And it says here, according to an article in a dubious magazine, this Pokemon has some connection to a phenomenon that occurs in a certain region. I feel like that's pretty concrete at that point. And although there is a lot of people that say to let it go, Mega Evolution's not coming back, there's actually a good amount of evidence as to why it's more likely than you might think. For starters, I already did a whole video on all of the evidence that points towards the DLC being somehow related to the Kalos region. From the 3 trainers next to the DLC area using the Kalos dragons, to the Kalos starters making a return to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet after years of not being in any Pokemon games. And somebody else also pointed out that Yida, the champion, like the overall champion of Paldea, has Kalos Pokemon on her team as well. So clearly, the Kalos region is playing a big role in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that I think is kind of slipping under the radar. It's kind of like hidden in plain sight. And a tweet that I actually found interesting as I was scrolling through the replies to see how people were kind of feeling about all this news points out that a lot of the Pokedex entries for the Mega Evolutions of Pokemon kind of sound very similar to Paradox Pokemon. For example, this Pokedex entry is for Mega Aerodactyl, and it says part of its body has become stone. Some scholars claim that this is Aerodactyl's true appearance. Mega Evolution awakened some dormant genes, bringing back the sharp rocks that once covered Aerodactyl's entire body. Massive amounts of energy intensely stimulated Ampharos' cells, apparently awakening its long-sleeping dragon's blood, which obviously that last one is not Aerodactyl related, it's obviously Ampharos related, but they all kind of allude to the fact that this is what their true forms were. So the connection that people are drawing with Paradox Pokemon is that maybe Paradox Pokemon are Mega Evolutions. Which this definitely makes sense for me, at least for the past Paradox Pokemon. I don't really know about the future Paradox Pokemon. It doesn't really work for them, but I think it's an interesting theory for sure. I do have one last piece of evidence that I wanted to quickly touch on, and it's this tweet from Riddler Khu that he tweeted out in November, right before Pokemon Scarlet and Violet even released. And it's this one right here that says, one of them is different, which? And he has a picture of Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, Dynamax, and the Terrestrial Phenomenon. But that's not the only tweet that we got about this specific question, because he does have a couple of follow-up tweets, like this one that says, if you fail to resolve it, you'll definitely miss a lot. This tweet leaked so much. And lastly, this one where he outright says, this was a DLC riddle in every sense, by the way. So he quite literally just throws it out there that this is 1000% about the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Which, going back to what I said originally, the biggest speculation right now is that the DLC is going to be somehow related to the Kalos region, and would therefore maybe be tied to Megas. But back to the original tweet, what people are speculating in the comments under this thread is that Megas is the only one that's different, and that's because Mega Evolution is exclusive to certain Pokemon. Not every Pokemon has a Mega Evolution. Evolution. However, every Pokemon can use Z moves, every Pokemon can Dynamax. Granted, yes, only a couple of Pokemon can Gigantamax. However, every Pokemon still has access to Dynamaxing. And of course, we already know that every Pokemon is able to Terastallize into any of the types. So Z moves, Dynamax, and the Terastal phenomenon are all not exclusive to a specific set of Pokemon, but Mega Evolution is. So people are thinking that he's hinting that Mega Evolutions might actually make a return in the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, since it's the only one that's not like the others. And he basically outright said that this was a huge leak regarding the DLC. Now, me personally, I always go into things with a hefty amount of skepticism, so I don't know if I'm completely convinced. However, I will say that there is quite a bit of evidence supporting this theory. From Roaring Moon's Pokedex entry, to the fact that it quite literally looks like Mega Salamence, and all of the supporting evidence that Kalos will play a big role moving forward in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, with all of the little Easter eggs that are related to the Kalos region, like the 3 Kalos dragons, Gita's Pokemon, the Kalos starters returning, etc. So you can't really deny that there is quite a bit of evidence that Kalos will play a big role in the DLC. So it would make a lot of sense for them to bring Mega Evolution back in some way or another. But obviously, nothing has been confirmed nor denied, so we realistically don't know anything for sure. But I would love to hear what you guys think down below in the comments. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.